All right. Welcome everyone to week 3 of the Killbox podcast.
Hi.
We're a few weeks in now. We had one guest last week that was super fun.
Yeah.
So we're here again, just the two of us to try and bring some value to your lives to the best of our abilities.
Yep.
So, yeah.
We're going to have Craig Brown on the show, hopefully soon. He agreed to do it yesterday. If you don't know Craig Brown, he runs the TikTok channel Bible Time. I think he's got like 1.8 million followers. Super amazing guy. He's
Craig's
my
dope.
co-host of Thematic. And in all of his channels, he's always talking about, the Bible or Jesus, things like that. When he comes on the Killbox, we're going to be talking about him as a husband, him as a dad, him as a human being. So it'll be more of personal narrative.
That'll be sick.
Should be really cool. Yeah.
I like Craig. I've talked with him a couple times just in here. And every time I've talked with him, dude's rad. Seems just
he's
like
super
such a
awesome.
cool, genuine, over kind, but like a genuine kind of guy.
No, he's a real deal.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, he's great.
I like it.
Yeah, and so we're going to have all sorts of different people from different walks of life, and we're going to be interviewing people, asking them questions. We had a question submitted to us that we thought we'd cover today, and it was about work-life balance.
Right.
I think the person who wrote it in knows that you're a creator, you're a business owner, you have a coffee company. I'm a business owner, and we're both dads. In fact, your son just celebrated his birthday.
He did. He just turned 3 on Saturday.
Cute.
Dude was stoked out of his mind. He got a bike, and he spent the next 2 hours doing hot laps around our whole downstairs, just stoked out of his mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got 4 kids, and so I think that we should just spend this episode kind of tackling work-life balance.
Yeah, or lack thereof it.
Yeah, or does it exist? Or yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I've got my personal opinion on it. I am very curious to hear what you have to say, and so what I'd like to hear what you have to say first, and then I can give you my tidbits afterwards.
Well, let's start with okay. So first of all, I'll tell people how much I work volumetrically, like how many hours, and people will often not believe me,
right?
And I'll have to quantify it. So I work typically every day from between 7 and 8 a.m. is like when I'm that's not when I'm up, that's when I'm working.
That's go time.
To, usually 8 or 9 p.m. So if it's 7 to 9, that's going to be a 14-hour day.
Right.
And last week I did 62 meetings on my calendar.
And I can vouch for it because I sat across from you watching you guys do them. It was wild.
And they're back to back to back to back. Like the Zoom's running. I'm like, hey, I'm 2 minutes late to my next meeting. I got to go, that type of thing. So, I think those were 30-minute slots. Right. So I had 31 hours just in those particular meetings. That didn't include team meetings. It didn't include I had to rebuild a website because, our company is growing, but we don't have a dedicated website person. And people are like, well, why don't you just use Fiverr? It's because the Fiverr person doesn't know the content, and writing the content is 80% of it.
Exactly.
And since I actually have the skill to just fix it up myself, I can just,
it's easier to just
I'll just do the 20%. Yeah. So anyway, last week, and then we own multiple businesses. So we have a housekeeping company, we have a cabinet shop, we have a Amazon company, and we're really involved in theater. My kids are in 3 shows right now: Legally Blonde, Oliver, and Bye Bye Birdie. Yep. And so our kids. So get this: my wife drove 1,900 miles last month taking kids to rehearsal.
That's wild.
So we have a Tesla. The Tesla tracks it pretty well. Marie doesn't really go anywhere outside of that. And we were calculating she did 28 to 30 hours a week in the car taxiing the kids.
That's insane.
To that many rehearsals.
That's crazy.
So between Marie and I, that's why one of the reasons we have assistant. So our assistant helps a lot. Just today, Marissa texted us hey, what can I do for you? And she has to go get a fog machine because we're in the 4th of July parade. By the way, I have to build the float tonight.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So to work-life balance, if by work-life balance you mean do I work 8 hours a day? No. I worked over almost 100 hours last Monday through Sunday.
Right.
Yeah. So I did about 100 hours. And on Saturday, I was at the cabinet shop for 6 hours building things with my partner, Jerry, because they're behind over there. And so when you're a leader, you just have to, you're the janitor. Right. And there's a great quote where it says, entrepreneurs are the only people who will work 100 hours to avoid working 40.
Right.
So true. It's like, I cannot do 9 to 5. I literally can't. I can't do it. I don't know how people do it. It's just not in my brain to just be able to check. Like, what is that like to be able to check in, punch your time clock, sit around until someone tells you what to do, or just do your job?
Right.
Like, just stay in your lane. I can't. It's not how my brain works.
Dude, I've got one of my closest friends. He works a 9 to 5, and we've had this conversation multiple times. Because he had told me, like, bro, why don't you just
I know this person.
Yeah, why don't you come work for the state with me? Like, you'll make 6 figures. You can do this. Like, it's super chill.
That guy has the easiest job.
But he loves it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's not...
good for him. I mean, for some people, that's their, like, promised land.
I genuinely envy it sometimes. Yeah. Because in my brain, it just doesn't, like... I've worked a lot of 9 to 5 jobs, and... You know, they might start off great, but at some point I'm just get to that breaking point of like, I just hate this shit. I can't stand it. You know?
I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point though, it actually I'll segue into one of my favorite things about work-life balance, which a good friend of mine once told me. And this guy, he's a little bit older than I am. You know, he's given me a lot of really good business advice, and he's been very successful. And he once told me that work-life balance doesn't exist. You have to look at it from a perspective of work-life integration. Yeah. Meaning, if you want to build something, like, you're going to work 100 hours a week, but then you look at, like tonight, you're building a parade float, which doesn't necessarily bring you any monetary value.
No, zero.
But it brings
cost me money.
Yeah, it actually reduces your bank account. But it brings a lot of value to you and your family.
Yeah.
And so you learn to integrate work into life, you know, to where this friend of mine had used the example that he said he never wanted to miss like a play, rehearsal, or sport game that his kids were involved in. Yeah. And so the way he does that is, you know, if there's a game Friday night, that may mean Thursday he's going to be up till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, midnight working, and being up early Friday morning and working. So that way, by the time he gets to the game, he's caught up enough that he can take that few hours and invest that into his kids and watch his kids do this sporting event, whatever it may be. And then he may still have to do a little bit more Saturday morning. Yeah. It's just learning to integrate the two and knowing like, hey, you know, we've talked a lot about this where we're both kind of in that, we're both builders. We love building things. Yep. And so with that comes this element of like, you're going to work more than the normal person. A 9 to 5 doesn't exist in your life. Yeah. And
that's not a real thing. It's just part of builders. It. Yeah. And you know, what was I going to say? The, Alex Hormozy, that's who it was. I don't know if you guys like Alex Hormozy. I follow a lot of his stuff. I think he's, you know, he's got, there's a couple of like entrepreneur influencers. One is Grant Cardone, who I don't love his stuff. Yeah. Because it's just sort of magical. It's like, step 1, get $1 million. Step 2, invest it. Okay, well, can we talk about getting the $1 million first?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Whereas Alex Hormozy really built, I mean, you know, his founder story is, I mean, he built it from nothing, and he's really sympathetic to that part of the journey. And so if you're building something and you're coming from nothing, his comment on work-life balance is there are people in third world countries that work 7 days a week to put food on the table. Right. The reason you're building something and not getting ahead is because you're trying to work it like a 9 to 5. Right. Something that needs to be built can't be built in 40 hours a week. Yeah. And that's true.
100% true.
Yeah.
He's also the guy that when he was doing his first brand, the gym brand, he was, you know, making 5 figures a month. You know, I think he was doing 10, 20 grand a month. But he was also living in a house with 7 other dudes or 6 other dudes, something like that, like this huge house share, and kept his expenses non-existent. You know? We've got another friend like that here locally that did a really good job of building wealth. Yeah. But he also lived off of $60,000 a year for like 11 years or something like that.
11 years.
Dude was making outrageous money.
Yeah.
But you never would have guessed it because he just, you know, this is what I need to pay my bills and do fun things and live comfortably. And I'm just going to invest and work and do this other stuff. And, you know, now he's in his late 30s and retired.
Yeah. And speaking of him, retired in his 30s. I mean, that, you know, so, but he took a decade and this is a great, sorry, I picked up my phone and that was a huge mistake.
Rookie mistake, dude.
If you're willing to work exceptionally hard, get rejected, and live below your means for 3 years, you can beat just about anybody.
100%.
That is such a great Alex Hormozi quote. I sent that into one of the groups that we're a part of.
Yeah.
And it's really true. And that's what that guy did. And that's why he, you know, he gets to retire so early.
It's a fun, I love the quote. And what I don't know if love's the right word, but I'll use it anyways. What I love more is how people can read that and they think like, oh, I could do this for 3 years. But then when it comes time to do like that, the exceptionally hard part of following through with that, you just don't see it.
Yeah.
It's wild. And that's why, I mean, the Gary Vee model is one of my favorites because he just gives everyone everything.
Yeah.
Right. All the information, he puts it out there. He doesn't hide everything behind courses that you pay $1,500 for. He just puts it out there. But he also has a perspective of, I'm going to share this with everyone.
Right.
But only 1% of the people that listen are actually going to do something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true.
It's true.
It's
100%
really
true.
It's really easy to hear something like that and think like, yeah, dude, I'm going to be that guy.
So the best advice probably for someone that's starting to build something is don't expect to work 40 hours a week. That's not a real thing. You'll not be able to do that. And people will think you're a flake in other areas of life. Cause I noticed that, so sharing something personal for me is like my friend group or like, you know, people I go to church with or, you know, that I'm friends with will say, oh my gosh, you're so busy.
Right.
You know, you're not available. You can't come to anything. And one time I had this really candid conversation with a friend of mine who kind of particularly bugs me about not being able to go do all the friend stuff. And I said, it's not that I'm too busy. It's that I'm too busy for this.
Right.
The thing you're inviting me to. So it appears like I'm always too busy to you, but my family gets my time. Like I don't compromise that. Like my family gets plenty of time. So we were out to dinner with this person in particular when this came up. And he was saying in front of my wife, he's like, I mean, how do you do it? Like, Daniel's so busy. She's like, it doesn't seem like that to me because I've prioritized, you know, my family and the businesses and not prioritize hanging out. Something that's fallen away from me is like time to exercise, and I'm so busy. I eat out often, and those two things have to change because you can tell I just wear my stress on me. I wear the weight on me. So I've got to get those two priorities back in line. Those have drifted because like I think 8 or 9 months ago, before my wife had a really bad bout of vertigo, and then I was also the dad taxi for about 8 months, I was doing really, really well. I was down about 45 pounds from here. I was near, you know, I was doing CrossFit every day, but CrossFit's an hour. And when you're working 100 hours a week, you don't have time for an hour.
Yeah, 101 is just
there's a lot. There's another good quote. Well, be 106, but anyway. There's a really good quote from, I don't know where Dr. Ryan got it, but my friend Dr. Ryan's a chiropractor. He's super fit, like an Ironman guy. And he's like, nobody has time to prioritize their health, but you have even less time when you're sick. It's something like that. It's like you need to prioritize your time for health now so that you don't lose all your time to being sick. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that just eats away at me. Yeah.
Well, you started carnivore, right?
No, I haven't. I bought all the meat on Saturday, but then like just right before I did, I made like 6 or 7 calls to like people who have what I want. That's a great tip, by the way. Yeah. If you see something in your life that you want, call people who have it and say, how'd you get it? None of them recommended the carnivore diet. Really? Yeah. And so I was like,
were they against it, or did they just have a different approach?
They were a little against it. Dr. Ryan was one of them. He was like, you know, he recommends the paleo cardiologist. Oh, okay. It's a book and a diet and all that. And it's like nuts, seeds, meat, vegetables, and fruit. Yeah. That's it. It's like, that's probably a pretty good diet. Yeah. So he's like, if you want a good diet, that's the one. Yeah. And so meat is like half of it. So I have half of the stuff I need. And I think all of us actually know the right answer. We're just looking for shortcuts, me included. Yeah. And the carnivore is a pretty good, because I'm seeing people online that are like, oh my gosh, in 2 months I lost 75 pounds. And
I think it's one of those things that would, like you said, it is a shortcut. And I've heard a lot of great, Jordan Peterson eats freaking steaks and water.
Well, the guy, and I didn't know this, the guy who wrote the book, I think it's called Carnivore MD.
Okay.
He's a medical doctor that like 5 or 6 years ago, before the documentary Game Changers came out, he was really recommending the carnivore diet. He is now off the carnivore diet because he'd done it for 5 years. You know, now here's the deal. I'm sure you could do it in the short term for 6 months.
Yeah.
But what is happening is a lot of these guys that have been on it hardcore for like a year or 2 years or 3 years, their sweat starts to smell like maple syrup. And that's actually a sign of like diabetes. Like, I guess you can give yourself diabetes by doing the carnivore diet with no sugar. I don't know how that's possible.
You're getting the sugar sweats.
Yeah. And there's like something called ketoacidosis. And like, there's a thing that you can damage your kidneys and go toward renal failure. What's fun is everybody in the comments is going to be correcting me a million because I honestly don't know. Perfect. So this will be a hot comment section. But I was told by 6 people that are doctors, chiropractors, and someone in the comments will be like, chiropractors aren't doctors. Okay, whatever. They have what I want. They are fit. They're healthy. And all of them are like, parts of the carnivore diet are great, but they recommend keeping fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds in your diet. So I think I'm going to do that.
Right. No
processed food across the board.
The processed
turns
food
out 89% of my diet is not what you're supposed to eat.
So
no soda.
Soda will fucking kill you.
It will kill you so hard. Even diet soda.
I'm an addict for soda. Like, you can ask my wife. Up until a handful of months ago,
you're jonesing.
Bro, I was 4 or 5 cases a week in soda pops, brother. And so, like, I was gonna do the carnivore, do all this other stuff. What I did.
How many is that a day? Are they like just regular?
Yeah,
cans?
just 12-ounce cans.
So
12 times, let's say 5. That's 60 cans a week.
60 cans a week.
So
that's
almost 10 cans of soda pops a day.
Yeah, 120 ounces a day.
That's a little brutal. That's a
lot of soda. Is that sugar soda too?
Oh, 100%, dude. I don't. If I'm feeling real, if I was feeling like a real healthy boy, I'd do a cherry Coke Zero. But for the most part, it was Dr. Pepper and Squirt. Squirt, I'm a glutton for Squirt.
I like
dude.
Squirt. I don't know why more people don't love it. It's so clean.
Because they're broken people.
Yeah,
they've got heart issues.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper's now the second most popular soda in the world behind Coke.
Dr. Pepper's huge.
It is huge. That's Hudson's favorite drink.
I quit drinking. Number 1, I'm on like 10 months no drinking. I'll hit a year in October. That'll be dope. So
like no alcohol.
No alcohol. Period. Wow. No beer. No liquor. Nothing. And I mean that I didn't quit out of necessity or
right. You weren't an alcoholic.
No, it was just I got super hammered one night and then felt like garbage the next day and was like, I need to take a break for a minute, which was originally going to start as a few weeks, and I had no real plan, but now here we are 10 months in, and I got to a point where it was just the decision became like, until I find a reason where alcohol adds value to my life, I don't need it. Because right now, all
I feel
alcohol
like it adds
ever
value
did
in my life. I like a cocktail when I go out.
I love beer and I love bourbon.
Yeah.
And so, every now and then I'm like, I get a real hankering for a little.
That's awesome.
A little
though,
beer time.
10 months is great.
But yeah, it's been great. And so, cut drinking, cut soda. And then pretty much all I eat anymore is a protein, which is either chicken, ground beef, or ground turkey. Whole grain or sprouted brown rice and salad. And if I have a carb, it's sourdough bread.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I eat anymore.
Yeah, that's great.
Unless there's like the rare, it's not, I won't say rare occasion. There's been times where we've been working. I mean, we sat here.
We got calzones.
We were hammering and needed food, so we got calzones.
Yeah, because like around here, there's like 2 places to eat, and that's one of them.
One of them. That or McDonald's. And so if I have to pick between calzones and some McNuggies.
Yeah.
My heart tells me McNuggies, but the physical part of my heart tells me not to.
Yeah.
But when I started finally giving a shit about how much I weigh, I started at 255. And so this morning, I weigh myself every morning after I get out of the shower. This morning, I clocked in at 228.
Whoa, look at you go.
So it's working.
Yeah,
Whatever I'm doing is working.
Yeah, and, keep it up. Slow and steady wins the race, dude.
Beer and soda pops, man, those 2 things, you get rid of alcohol, soda, and processed foods, because I don't eat fast food very often anymore.
Yeah.
And it's completely
yeah, that'll do it. The other thing that every one of the people I called, because like what happens to me is I get obsessed with stuff, and then it's like, it's all or nothing, and so I'll drop like 100 pounds. So I've lost 100 pounds 3 times in my life.
Right.
Which It's sad that I had 100 pounds to lose. It's great that I can do it when I focus on it, but I'll gain it back. So the last time I did that, I'm back up, but I'm not like, I haven't gained all of it back. You know what I mean? So it's a great time to kind of address this stuff. But the point is, all these people that I call, because I obsess, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to kind of go in and on this carnivore diet because I saw enough TikToks where it looks pretty convincing, and I've never tried it before. And the actual thing is not the weight loss, but that they always talk about like the lack of inflammation, you know, like their joints and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh man, that sounds great, because my knee will get to me, my left hip will get to me. And so anyway, right before I started, actually I'd already bought all the meat. And I was about to start only eating meat, and so I call all these people, right? And I get a hold of 2 of them, and then 4 of them call me back, kind of thing. What they all said throughout everything is seed oils, to get rid of seed oils.
Mm-hmm. Dude, avocado oil, it's the only oil I use now.
Yeah, that's not a seed, right?
I don't think so.
Oh gosh, I should have asked that. But
that's a great question. I might have just said something. And
I think olive oil is fine, and then maybe avocado oil. Yeah. But the problem is a lot of these companies will put seed oils or like canola oil in the avocado oil.
Yeah.
And kind of like, you know, dilute it with that. So, but anyway, that was a big thing that they all said, because they're like, well, why do you want to do the carnivore diet? All of them asked me. I'm like, because of the inflammation, and then obviously weight loss. They're like, oh, inflammation, seed oils. Right. Seed oils, processed food. Get rid of that. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing I cut out. So I'm not doing any soda. I do have LaCroix.
Yep. LaCroix is gangster.
Yeah.
It's actually Spindrift. Sorry to sidetrack.
No, you're fine.
Spindrift. Have you had Spindrift?
I have had it. Bro, that's the Pepsi version of LaCroix.
I think it's so good.
Yeah, I'm buying the 32 case or 35 case Costco pack of the Costco Kirkland knockoff LaCroix.
Oh, bro, it's just as good. Everything from
it's
Costco is just
it's
as
got
good.
grapefruit, lemon, and lime in one case. It's the cheapest one, and I'm like, those are my favorite flavors anyway. I do like the limoncello on the LaCroix, but yeah, like, so anywho, that's kind of what I've been buying recently, because sometimes you just need something fizzy.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing with it, is I just like the carbonation. And so, I mean, it's hilarious that I say I don't drink soda anymore.
I know,
but I'm
look at this.
Hammering my rock stars. But I mean, and even these, like, so it used to be unlimited soda. Like every day I was drinking 2 or 3 rock stars or Red Bulls, or going to the coffee stand and getting a Red Bull drink. And so now it's like, if I wake up and I'm just like dog tired, I'll stop and get a rock star. But that's about it. But
it turns out you probably just need more sleep.
Probably need more sleep.
Yeah.
But I got a 3-year-old that's been really ambitious lately. So he's been on one. But yeah, man, on the health kick, while we're sitting here talking about it, we've got this gym. I feel like we just need to. That's the next big piece for me. I've been in it a little bit, not as much as I'd like to, but we got to just get big and strong.
Yeah, that'd be great.
If we can fight bears, I think that should be our goal.
I don't know if we'll ever be able to fight bears, but
not with an attitude like that.
Yeah, if we can carry ourselves up the stairs without getting winded,
that'd be cool.
That'd be great. Yeah, time. It's all time. Everything's time.
Everything's time. Well, in conclusion, I would say work-life balance. If you work a 9 to 5, if you're wired to like want to find some place to work and be the best in that job and clock in and clock out and do your thing, work-life balance really isn't that hard to accomplish.
No, it's super easy.
You go to work, you do your job, do it well. People are paying you. You should be putting effort in to do your job well. You clock out and you make time for yourself, your family, whatever you want to do. I feel like it's not that challenging. If you are the type of person that has that builder brain that wants to run businesses and grow stuff and has that leadership gene in your head, like, throw work-life balance out the window. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not a real thing.
Learn to integrate work into life and understand that if you want to build something, you just have to, you do both. Yeah. And there is no balance. You just figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good.
That would be my 2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching a TikTok the other day, and it was this young person kind of crying that they were literally crying on the TikTok that they had to work more than 32 hours in a week.
Was it the Starbucks kid?
Maybe it was.
I watched a Starbucks kid that sat in the back room full tears doing this. I have have to work 30 hours this week and we don't have anyone on the window. And I just, it's so overwhelmed.
Like, wow.
And I'm like, this kid is a bitch, man.
Yeah. There's definitely like a culture of weakness. I think
100%.
there's obviously rare individuals that can step up and bring the heat, but like, it's shocking. Like, cause like I have a 16-year-old and her friends, they're nervous to go up to a counter with like a worker and put their order in.
Stop it.
Won't stop. So Juliet will go and order for the whole group because she's really confident. Because ever since she was a little kid, we've let her, here's $10, go order the thing. Or, when something's wrong with their food at a restaurant, like we make the kid tell the waitress so that they learn life skills,
Yeah. Well, how to communicate with a stranger.
Yeah. How to communicate politely, how to make their needs known, all those types of things. Yeah. And so like yesterday, like one of my kids, so we have a golf cart, and so they drove all the other kids downtown, and so, they take money and they do transactions and they're confident. And I mean, my 10-year-old can do that. Yeah. And then I meet some people that are 18, 19 that don't have those skills. Right. And it makes me scared a little bit for the future.
We've got a soft generation coming.
Pretty soft. Yeah. It's pretty soft. And so, it's easy to be older and complain that everybody's weak, but I think it's systemic at this point. I think that we've trained people that things come easy, and because they have in America, and that won't be true. Right. It's been true, but it's not going to keep being true. Yeah. And just ask anyone who owns a business. Yeah.
Life has gotten hard.
It's getting way harder.
Way
you
expensive.
have to do 2 times the effort. I mean, there was a guy who posted their Walmart order from 2 years ago, and it had quadrupled in price. Almost, it's like 3.758.
Bro, we used to spend, I would say, $100 a week on groceries. And then, we came over here where I could honestly say that groceries seem cheaper here.
Yeah, they're a little cheaper, yeah.
But we're still spending $150 to $170 a week. Like, our bills have almost doubled just to eat. Yeah. And we're eating most people think when you start eating better and eating cleaner, it's more expensive. But I eat chicken and rice,
yeah, it's pretty cheap, actually, especially if you buy it at Costco or Cash and Carry or something like that. Yeah.
And we're not buying soda and chips, cookies, crackers, cake, all this junk that we used to buy. Like, that's purely just like whole foods that, we're trying to not eat.
Well, and the
garbage.
reason I bring up like the softness and the lack of wanting to work and things like that is because I don't have a lot of spare time, but in the time that I do have, and that's usually like in the shower or whatever. So all the iPhones are waterproof. So I'll put on a podcast and throw it in the shelf in the shower and just listen. And mostly the stuff I'm listening to is like AI related right now. Right. I'm really interested in that and robotics. And I'm interested in it because you look at McDonald's replacing all their counter workers because the minimum wage has been increased. And we can talk all day about, is that ethical or not ethical? Right. I think it's really practical. A worker calls in sick, a worker can sue you, a worker will jump over the counter and punch a customer.
If they're
and a kiosk is not going to do anything like that.
A robot just says, thank you.
Yeah. A robot's polite. A robot shows up every day for work on time. One technician can manage 20 robots, so you only have to find one dependable person. Right. And so my point is, I do believe there's a future where AI and robotics make everyone's life actually easier. Right. Genuinely. But in the stopgap between today and that reality, the job market is going to get really, really constrained because you'll hear employers say this all the time. Good people are really, really hard to find. And then you'll see in the comments, like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, I'm willing to work. Like, I know all my friends are looking for jobs. It's like,
how hard are you looking?
Well, not only that, but like, how are you interviewing? What is your skill set? Right. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter who's president. At this point, technology is taking off to a place where I can give my best workers AI and they're worth 3 normal people. Yeah. So I'd much rather give them a raise and a tool, manage fewer people who are better AI empowered workers, than hire more people.
Yeah. Well, you look at even the creative sphere with video editing. Like I'd been kind of out of the video game for a while.
Yeah.
And now that we've started doing this podcast and we're doing some other content for different businesses, like I started diving back in and I'm finding these different plugins and the different things that integrate with the editing soft. So now like this podcast, for example, like when we're done, I pull the footage, I upload it into Adobe Premiere, and it runs through this AI-powered software that auto-cuts everything based on who's talking. It'll look at who's talking and cut to that camera. Yeah. And then it gives you a fully edited
And
video.
we used to pay for that.
Yeah,
we used to pay for someone to do
3 or 4 hours to cut something like this up.
Yeah, and we had 2 full-time editors at one point to make Joe's content, my business partner. And when we discovered Opus Clip and some other stuff, we're like, man, we just really don't need multiple staff. We actually ended up letting go of somebody I really care about because it just didn't make sense financially when the tools were so good.
Well, you can pay someone a $60,000, $70,000 a year salary, or you can pay $400 a month for Opus.
Yeah.
And Opus Clips, for those who don't know what Opus is, that's the other software I use for like all the clips anyone has ever seen of this podcast.
Opus Clips
is me taking a fully edited video, uploading it to this website called Opus Clips, and then it uses AI to analyze all the speak. All the words, and it finds trending. It'll compare that to social.
It analyzes the topic. It looks at what's trending, and they'll give you clips on those things.
And then it auto cuts clips in a format and adds subtitles. And it
vertical. It'll take it from wide to vertical.
Takes 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like the first time I did it at episode 1, I looked at it and was like, I've got 29 clips here, and I spent an hour and a half of my life to get a fully edited video and almost 30 clips for social.
And Greg, this is the beginning of software like that.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst it'll ever be now.
Yeah, it only gets better.
And Adobe's integrating it into Premiere. Final Cut is said to have something coming. And so we might actually be able to just use the software you like and just pay Apple a monthly subscription of $29 a month to have all the AI features.
Yeah.
But my point is like it's currently changing the world. The people who are feeling it the most are probably really productive people, and it's also really interesting. I used to tell my kids, AI is going to come, AI is going to replace it. This is like 4 years ago. It's going to replace a lot of white collar workers. Right?
Yeah.
But creatives will always have a job. That's what I used to say. Creatives will always have a job, and trades.
Right.
Now I can only say trade people will most likely always, like that will be the last job replaced. Is
we
like
will
plumbers,
always need
electrician,
people swinging hammers. And buildings.
Until robots are completely humanoid.
Well, we're printing buildings with cement now. So
it's bonkers. Who would have thought that the first thing to get replaced would be creative things?
Yeah. Like
Midjourney and Opus and like the first all AI television commercial was made by Toys R Us and released. And so the upside of all this AI, we were talking to my daughter Scarlett, who's a writer and an actress, and she literally asked, she's like, do you think acting jobs will still be around with all, because like TikTok just came out with their AI avatar creators and stuff like that. And we're like, yeah. In fact, Marie and I bought a domain called fleshandbone.com, and we're naming a company called Flesh and Bone Talent because we think that there will be 2 camps. There will be one camp where it's like we don't use any AI because we want to watch humans perform. We want to hear them saying, we want to see humans. And so we want to create a talent agency because Marie was a model and she's into acting and all our kids are in. We want to create a talent agency where we will work with companies who want to just hire humans for that project, like no AI, and the cool thing about humans is they can have follower counts. And so that's an upside. So when you book, so this is just a concept and a domain right now, and we have no time to build it. But our idea was using Marie's connections at the different agencies that she knows is to get people recruited onto this platform, and they put their follower counts. Here's Insta, TikTok, and YouTube. Here's my follower accounts. And so when you're booking out a project as a company, you're like, dude, let's pick these 3 people. Their reels are really good, or they have the right look, and that gets us 400,000 total followers. Yeah, you have and if you're on that platform, you have to agree to share the behind the scenes, the BTS, and the final project to your follower account.
Yeah.
So things like that, would be but I think there's going to be camps. I think some companies are going to just use AI because it's cheap and fast.
Right.
And then you have a creative team, like a head writer, and then like a brand manager who knows what the brand is, and they're using AI tools to create content.
Right.
And then there'll be other companies that are like, we only want real humans.
Yeah.
So it'll be really interesting over the next 5 years to see kind of how that goes.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how it plays out for sure.
But my point is about work-life balance is you need to, I think over the next 5 years, you're going to need to be willing in America. I get it. In Europe, they're like, in Europe, they work 3 10-hour days or 3 4-hour days. Oh, great for Europe, but that's not
and
here.
Don't they get taxed like crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it. That is an appealing life. You know,
Sure.
That's appealing. That's just not America. I don't think it'll ever be America. In America, it's a grind set. It's like, can you make stuff? Can you produce stuff? You know, how hard do you work? Like, we sort of take pride. And it's the 4th of July coming up.
Yeah, dude. God bless America.
God bless America, dude.
Freaking greatest country in the world.
Greatest country in the world. Hands down, no questions.
Hands down, dude.
Hands down. People are like, did you see the debates? Like,
oh, sweet God, dude.
I'm
I
like,
love
the fact that both of our candidates were arguing about who's a better
freaking
golfer.
handicapped, dude.
So
hilarious.
Good. It's so
hilarious.
Good.
Number
My
one.
favorite quote is Trump going,
that.
I know your swing. I've seen your swing.
I've seen your swing, dude. Which I just want.
Swing.
It
I've
is
seen your swing.
crazy. I don't care who you vote for or who you like, but I just think it's absurd to think
so
that Joe
good.
Biden has a 6 handicap when the dude can't walk off the stage by himself.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I know your swing. I've seen your swing.
I know your swing. I've seen your swing, Joe, and it's not good.
Oh man. Oh man, it was idiots. So good. You know, and some people are, you know, really scared, but I thought it was pretty funny. So good. I know your swing. I've seen your swing.
I've seen your swing.
They argued about golf for a good amount of the time.
So stupid.
So stupid, dude. But at any rate, yeah, one of the great things about Killbox is, like, I was telling my wife, I'm like, the Killbox is not really yet a long format show. It's a clip machine right now.
100%.
Because we're training the algorithm. So if you've stayed around and watched this entire rambling episode,
you're a real one.
Then your hands are full and it's playing in the background.
Yeah, you're just kind of letting it ride at this point.
Yeah, but otherwise it's we are in the phase of our podcast where if we don't record every week and put out clips, then the algorithm will forget about us. So we're training the algorithm, and we hope that anything we talk about, our goal on this show is just to be very, very real, to talk about, you know, talk about current things and our viewpoints on life. And then most of the episodes we'll have people here to interview to talk about those same things with us.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, last week, sorry about the audio.
Oh, yeah, that's my fault.
Oh, I wasn't going to throw you under the bus.
I'll throw myself under the bus. Hilariously, I made a post that said, we had a issue with the audio. Please bear with me. The issue with the audio was
you.
I did not push record on our recorder. And I don't know why. I was flustered going into that one. No idea why. And I think it was just like we got here and, it was on a weekend. And it was like we take our weekend because just the week was crammed. And so I'm like trying to set up cameras and lights, and I check the audio, and then in my brain, I remember the moment where I checked mics, and then I go, I've got to move a camera, and just walk straight to the camera. And then we all started talking about something, and I sat down, and it was about 5 minutes before that episode ended. My body just dissolved, and I committed to throwing myself in the lake afterwards to drown. And just like,
because that was like a 2.5 hour.
Yeah, it was
interview.
An hour 57, I think. And I sat there, was like, there's no way I did that. Like, I'd been in the media game for well over a decade now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm the idiot who forgot to hit record. So before we started this one, I pushed record and audibly yelled out loud,
I'm recording.
Audio's recording. We're going, dude.
Exactly.
It's go time.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry about the audio last week. That won't happen again.
Sorry, Tyler.
We're growing. Yeah, sorry, Tyler. Tyler, we have to have...
Tyler's going to come back. I talked to him. And he's going to come back on and talk up. I'm going to run one of those High Rocks events. Like, I'm committed to it. And so
I know you tried to get me to commit to it on the show. I'm like, that sounds terrible.
No. I found my second boy, though. I got my duo.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we've been texting. And
who is it?
Freaking, you know what? Cole Barker. I'm going to just say it publicly. So
I was going to say commit him to it.
Cole, don't let me down.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We talked about it.
That you're doing
we
a High
looked at the
Rocks
one.
now.
There's one in Dallas. There's one in Anaheim. We're going to look later for next year because I'm still a bit of a fat boy.
It's okay. You can be a little dough boy.
We could be a little dough boy.
I look at the screen because we have a screen. Like, I've realized every show I think I've been wearing these shorts. I want to say that these shows are filmed 7 to 8 days apart. I don't wear these shorts every day. It just weirdly happens because it's been kind of rainy. So I've been wearing pants the last 3 days, and now it's going to be like 80 degrees. So I like wore these shorts again that just came back out of the laundry. It's like, I swear to you, it's not a costume.
I pretty much wear the same shorts just in a different color. And for the record, these aren't undies. This is just like an underlayer type thing. It's got a little cell phone pocket.
I know. And I like look at my pasty white legs, and I've got all these like mosquito bites from when I was in Bend. It's like, man, we got to change the shots up a little bit.
We got to switch it up. We're going to work on it. We're putting effort in.
Yeah, we are.
We're doing what we can with what we got. And I mean, we got mic arms now.
We got mic arms.
Look and work a lot better than the chintzy little Amazon stands I had.
Yeah, they do.
We're figuring it out.
In fact, John's on his way here, so we got to hop off and do that meeting. But thanks for joining us for the Kill Box. And we've got 3 minutes until the top of the hour. And so we got to go, but we will see you next week.
Appreciate you all. If you watch the whole thing, we love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.